Welcome, my friends, to the world of HeroQuest, a place unlike any other. It's understood that we all love the classic HeroQuest board game, the dungeon crawler that basically invigorated our childhood creativity and brought joy to so many children in the 90s. But there's this whispering legend, a relic of a bygone era, known only as HeroQuest, the card game. For many of us, this collector's item will never grace the top of our gaming shelves. Today we're revisiting a mysterious piece of HeroQuest history. What happened to the HeroQuest card game? That ridiculous expensive box of cards listed on eBay for all of Prince Magnus's treasure. You can recall I dropped a video on my take on the HeroQuest card game titled Treasure Quest last year on the channel, where I show you how you can take your existing game cards and expansion materials to play a version I find to be more interesting and reminiscent to the dungeon crawler we love. I'll add the link in the description below. But new revelations have surfaced, thanks to Ribby from Bourbon and Board Games on the HeroQuest fans Discord, with the discovery of a demaked version that may have been overlooked on DeviantArt by Odanan back in September of 2021. If you've ever tried to track down the card game, you've probably noticed something shocking. It's more elusive and twice as expensive as the Guardian Knights. So what gives? Why the astronomical price tag for what's essentially a cardboard box and a deck of cards? With some help from Kurgan and a reputable source within the fandom, we're diving deep into the mysteries of the unique card game. We'll talk rumors, the box's lack of original content, as well as demo how the card game is played by showing off my homebrew edition. And most importantly, I'll show you how you can print and play a classic Demake version today. This is the Fair Weatherman. With only a handful of game boxes showing up in playthroughs online, it's safe to say the card game version of HeroQuest disappeared faster than word got out that it was a thing. If you'd like to see the original game and all its lackluster content, you can check out AshQuest, who did an unboxing video a little while back, where he revealed footage of someone else showing it off. Or you can find a playthrough video on Home Base Games' YouTube channel. Both links will be added in the description below. HeroQuest, the card game, released in 2020, is widely rumored to have been a strategic release to secure the intellectual property rights for Avalon Hill's upcoming 2021 re-release. But rather than being a serious retail product designed for profit, its primary function may have been to maintain ownership of the HeroQuest trademark, which might have been set to expire. Despite its status as a major collector's item, the card game is notable for its low production quality. Owners of the product have pointed out several issues, including the cards and other components low quality that must be punched out from a single sheet of thin cardboard, reminiscent to games released in the late 80s. I'm looking at you, Dungeon Quest. With some reports indicating the ink from the cards rubbing off onto players' hands during use. Also, the handful of included dice are thrown in the box blank and required players to apply peel-off stickers to add the correct symbols. Quite lame if you ask me. And believe it or not, the game itself was based on a pre-existing title, a detail that further underscores its lack of creativity as a standalone HeroQuest game. All of these hardships have created a unique situation where a product with objectively poor quality and a limited release has become a sought-after collectible. Let's dig into the gritty details and find out if it's worth searching for to have in your collection. Let's get into this. With little to no official promotional materials for its release, there was no advertising campaign by Hasbro or Avalon Hill. The HeroQuest card game has a goblin-sized historical footprint, with a single print run and many complaining that pre-orders were canceled and left unfulfilled. Lucky fans waited weeks for it to finally arrive on their doorsteps. What's more puzzling is that the game is currently listed on Amazon, out of stock of course, as being sold by Disney. I'm so confused. Those who received their pre-orders pointed out the HeroQuest the card game's unique style and play mechanics are overwhelmingly reminiscent to the 2015 card game The Grizzled, with many calling it a nearly identical one-for-one copy of the game with a fantasy spin. a cooperative card game for 2 to 5 players that puts you in the boots of French soldiers in the trenches of World War I. The Grizzled is unlike most war games. Your goal isn't to win battles or gain glory. Instead, the game's core theme is about survival and the bonds of friendship. You and your comrades must endure the horrors of war and try to make it to the end together. Similarly, HeroQuest the Card Game is a quick and compact cooperative dungeon crawler for 1 to 4 players, based on the classic fantasy adventure board game. Players work together to defeat the evil monsters that lurk in the dark and escape the dungeon. So what if you want to experience this lost piece of historical HeroQuest history without selling your soul to Zargon's undead army? Well, that's where the amazing HeroQuest community steps in. I want to show you something absolutely brilliant. Odanan's Demake card deck. Odanan, a legendary name in the HeroQuest fan community, took it upon himself to demake or recreate many of the lost and rare components in the box using the artwork from the 1989 release. It's a fantastic hack, a labor of love that lets everyone experience the taste of this rare game without having to mortgage the castle. So while the official HeroQuest card game remains an expensive, hard-to-find enigma, thanks to Odanan's incredible efforts, you can dive into this little-known corner of the HeroQuest history. It's a testament to how passionate this community is. If you'd like to download a copy, check out Odanan's HeroQuest material on DeviantArt. Donate a small fee, the likes of the cost of a cup of joe, after a bloody battle in the dungeon. So here's how to play. Each player chooses a hero champion card, 1 out of the 4 classic warriors from the original game system: the dwarf, the barbarian, the wizard, or the elf. The goal is to survive and deplete the dungeon deck, revealing the exit before any single hero suffers 4 wounds. So here we would have an orc threat with a trap, undead, chaos warrior, and a spell, along with some added cards like the magic throwing dagger that you can use, a potion of defense, holy water, so it's not all bad that you would encounter. On their turn, a player plays a card and then chooses 1 of 3 actions: attack a threat on the dungeon floor, attempt to heal a wound, or search for treasure. This action-oriented gameplay makes for a fast-paced experience that captures the essence of the original board game in a much smaller and more simplistic format. Odanan took the original spirit of the card game and changed a few things, making the gameplay a little bit more streamlined. He added 5 new threat cards to make all threats have the same numbers. He added 7 beneficial cards, 1-shot equipment cards, along with 8 wound cards. 15 treasure cards were added instead of drawing from the treasure tiles. Of course, this can be exchanged back to the original tile system if you choose to do so. As you can see, we have a lot of the similar and original artwork from the original release. A lot of the artifacts that are used again: broadsword, spirit blade, a toolkit, wand of magic. I chose to add my second set of HeroQuest dice that I had actually ordered on Etsy from Victory Designs, long before the Crypt of Perpetual Darkness included the black set. And I also made a really cool box. This is just a normal shoebox that I spent about an hour cutting down. I also found online the box art that I then resized in Photoshop and added to the back and the front. I probably could go back and add the HeroQuest card game logo on the sides. I just hadn't decided if I wanted to do so just yet. So what you'll get inside this card deck are essentially all of the dungeon deck cards that you would draw. Once you determine how many heroes you're wanting to run through in the dungeon, you would then shuffle and draw that many dungeon cards. For a game of 2 players, you would incorporate 30 dungeon cards. 3 players, you'd incorporate 40 dungeon cards, and 4 players would incorporate 50 dungeon cards. You would then shuffle your treasure tokens or your treasure deck, depending on which one you want to play with, Each player draws 2 dungeon cards and holds them in their hands. I like to play them where they're actually side by side so I can see what hero has what. Each player would also take a turn order card that they would refer to throughout gameplay. I like to put one in the center just to look at and make sure I'm using all of my actions in the correct order. Once you set up your table, you're ready to start playing. On your turn, you'll select a card from your hand and place it on the table. There are 3 types of dungeon cards. Threat cards that contain combinations of the 6 types of threats. When you place a threat card on the dungeon floor, there are 2 conditions that require immediate attention. Whenever there are 3 identical threats on the board, a round is lost. Shuffle the active cards on the dungeon floor back into the dungeon deck, and each player receives 1 permanent wound marker. Now remember, these are 3 identical threats, not cards, active on the dungeon floor. A door symbol. If the threat card you placed includes a door symbol, your hero has triggered a random encounter. Take the top card of the dungeon deck and immediately put it into play. This may cause you to lose the round. Next we have the wound cards. They show a wound symbol and may include an active penalty or threat. Play the wound card on a hero, yours or another, by placing the card near the hero card. Remember, this is a cooperative game, so be sure you play your wounds wisely. Wound cards cannot be attacked, but can be healed by the action Heal Wound, or by the effects of beneficial cards. If a player receives a combination of 4 or more wounds, permanent markers and/or cards, all players lose the game. And then we have beneficial cards. They are cards with effects that help the heroes. Play the beneficial card on a hero, yours or another, by placing the card near the hero card. A hero may activate the effect of his beneficial card at any time during his turn. Next, we can perform one action. After you play a card, your hero chooses one of 3 possible actions. You can attack a threat card on the dungeon floor, call out the threat, undead, orc, chaos warrior, hazard, spell, or trap you would like to attack, and then roll 2 dice, unless you have a modifier that calls for more or less dice. You need to roll all the indicated symbols in your hero card for the specific threat to defeat it. If the attack is successful, remove the threat card from the dungeon floor and place it in the discard pile. One thing that I forgot to mention earlier was how Odanan allowed for some differentiation between the heroes when performing an action, healing a wound, or searching for treasure. Something that the original card game did not have. As you can see, they all had the same exact roles that they had to perform to make any of these actions. Now you have a bit of uniqueness amongst the heroes when you go about playing in the dungeon. Something I really like. Another action you can take is Heal a Wound. Roll 2 dice to try to remove a wound card on your hero. You need to roll all the indicated symbols to be successful. Permanent wound markers cannot be healed by this action. Roll 2 dice to try and find a treasure. You need to roll all the indicated symbols to be successful. Standard rules would be to take a treasure token from the treasure token pile, check the threat shown on its back, and discard all the threat cards on the dungeon floor with that matching threat. The treasure token is then removed from play. Or Odanan's optional rule. You can take a treasure card from the top of the treasure card deck and play it on a hero, yours or another. No use for treasure tokens. And then lastly, we would then replenish our deck by drawing a dungeon card. After you perform an action, draw cards from the dungeon deck, usually just 1, so you have 2 cards in your hand. Your turn is over. Play continues with the next hero. And you would continue these actions in this turn-based order until you've worked through all of the dungeon deck and reveal the wooden exit door. Remember, this is cooperative gameplay. You can choose to inflict wounds to balance out your heroes, so not one hero would take on 4 wounds and the game be over. All in all, I really like this card system. I think it's a lot of fun, and most importantly, it reminds me that I don't need to spend $1,000 trying to find this relic. It's not worth it. The game's fun, it's interesting, it gives you a way to play maybe on the go. Last year, the card system I came up with that was reminiscent to this game, we took camping. This would be a much easier haul to the campsite. I won't have to worry about getting any of my cards dirty or losing any content from my board game because these are all just printed off my printer at home. And I really enjoy the box I made. Everything fits in there nicely. It looks professional. I'm happy to put it on my game shelf, knowing that I paid the equivalent of a handful of cardstock, $6 worth of plastic sleeves, and a shoebox. I think it's a really great investment when it comes down to how much I really spent on this game. So that's the video. I hope you go out, find Odanan's page, download yourself a set of these cards, and get diving in the dungeon today. So what do you think? Did you know this game even existed? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications so you don't miss out on our next adventure. Until then, danger, you will soon discover, lurks in every shadow. Come, let the quest begin.